Hello and welcome once again to yet another episode of Homemade with me, Jayani. And today what I'm going to do is show you how to do some very simple appetizers to whip up in a hurry to serve all your dinner party guests and just sweep them right off their feet. So the recipe I'm going to do today is my pepper poppers recipe, which I am going to finish in my Mistral air fryer. First, I need to boil these potatoes, and I recently found out that you can actually boil potatoes in the microwave. I am going to show you exactly how I'm going to do it. First, it needs to be of a sizable size. The potatoes, the smaller the better. So these are quite large. So what I'm going to do is just cut them in half. Make sure you stab it right, left and center, because you need that steam to get into the potatoes and boil it from inside out. So stab that potato, get all your anger and frustrations into that potato. It's very therapeutic, if you know what I mean. So the potatoes have been pierced right throughout. So what I'm now going to do is just place them in a microwave-proof container with just a little bit of water. I've just covered the bottom of the pan and just place the potatoes, and I'm going to cover this with some cling film. Make sure you seal it right down to the bottom, and I'm going to place this in the microwave for approximately 10 to 15 minutes, and my boiled potatoes will magically be done. So I need the microwave at its highest power, so I'm going to set it to 1100, and I need to put at least about 10 minutes on the clock. So while my potatoes are boiling in the microwave, I'm going to prep my banana peppers. So I need it with the stem on, so I am going to just pair it in the middle very carefully. I don't need any of these seeds. You get that bite from the seeds, but I don't need that much of a bite. So I'm just going to remove that. Take all of that seeds out. That bite is in the seeds, so when you get rid of the seeds, you are getting rid of that unnecessary bite as well. So 10 minutes in the microwave and my potatoes are done. I'm just going to take it out. So it's important that you don't open the cling film as soon as you take it out, because all that steam is trapped inside and it tends to just burn you instantly. So I will let that sit for at least 10 minutes and before opening it. So I've left it for 10 minutes. I'm going to slowly open it. Even if you left it out for some time, be careful because you are dealing with steam. So I'm going to test the potatoes with the fork. Yes, it's done. So while my potatoes are cooling, I'm going to prep my fish. I need just one piece of fish. So first, just flake the fish like this. Small pieces. So my potatoes have cooled. I'm going to peel it. The skin should come right off if the potatoes are boiled properly. Just going to throw that into my fish mixture. So to this we need to add some salt and of course some pepper. So when adding salt, you need to be very careful because you need to remember that the salmon already has some salt in it. So just add a little bit as you go, and when you taste it, and make sure you taste it, you can add more later on. So my mixture is done. What is left for me to do is to stuff these peppers. Little amounts of mixture at one time. It's a classic mix of fish and potato, and with the familiar flavors of the Sri Lankan banana pepper. And all of this goes into the air fryer, and this is much better than the deep fried version because it's super healthy, and I'm not using even 1 drop of oil in this recipe. That is what's so great about the air fryer, because it gives you all the goodness of frying, the taste, that amazing sinful feeling of fried things, but without the bad, without the oil, and without the unhealthy attached to it. And the air fryer is extremely versatile. I even use this to make malu ambultial, the Sri Lankan fish ambultial, as you may call it. So now I've stuffed it with the fish mixture. I've got some grated mozzarella here. What I'm now going to do is do a light sprinkling of mozzarella on top of each of these peppers. There's something so magical about chili and cheese, that combination, because that hit of chili with the saltiness of the cheese and the mildness of the cheese is ideal. It's the perfect marriage, if I may say so myself. We are done with the sprinkling of cheese. So what I'm now going to do is just fry it in my air fryer. I have the Mistral air fryer here, and I can just slide the drawer right out. The beauty of the air fryer is that you don't even need to turn these peppers. It just cooks right through without you having to do anything at all. So I am going to line all of these without overlapping. And this goes in to the air fryer. 180 degrees, and for about 5 minutes, because I want that crispiness of the pepper to retain itself while wanting that 5 minutes, because I want that crispiness of the pepper to be maintained right throughout, but I want that mozzarella to be melted nicely, beautifully on top of the peppers. So my banana peppers are ready. If you can see, the cheese has melted and there's little spots of golden goodness on top of the cheese. I am going to plate this now. Carefully lift them out. Just look at those golden blobs of cheese. Careful not to get yourself burned. So just arrange that whichever way you want. So I have a bit of parsley here, which I am just going to pick off the stalks and just scatter them liberally. My pepper poppers are now done. So I can just smell this from here, and I am salivating as I speak, and I just want to dig in. So I'm just going to take one. I call these pepper poppers because you can just pop them into your mouth. Just the most amazing, the freshest appetizer that you can ever serve to your guests at Christmas time, because that pepper is amazingly fresh. The air fryer, my Mistral air fryer, has done its trick beautifully and cooking the potatoes and the fish together in a beautiful marriage of flavors. And that hit of parsley gives you that kick of freshness to uplift those flavors so well. So serve this at any dinner party and just sweep your guests right off their feet. Next up is another very simple recipe that is also healthier that I'm going to make in my Elba oven. This I call my 5-spice chicken wings recipe. So to start off, like I said, even a little child can make this. I have around 600 grams of chicken wings and winglets, a mixture of both. And I just threw all of that, washed and dried, into a big bowl. Copious amounts of salt. And of course chili powder. My go-to Sri Lankan mix. Plenty of that because I like my chili. And then you need the Sri Lankan curry powder. The Sri Lankan curry powder in itself has a number of health benefits. It's a mixture of so many herbs and spices. And it's an Ayurvedic recipe that has been proven beneficial for the health by our grand Ayurvedic history. So what you now need to do is mix all of that in. Make sure you coat each and every one of those chicken wings and chicken winglets. Right, I think I got each and every one of them. So what I now need to do is just set it there. Let it marinate for at least half an hour. I'm going to keep that in the fridge and let that preheat for about 10 minutes while the chicken marinates in the fridge. So my chicken has been marinating for half an hour right now. And what I'm now going to do is just throw it into this B&B bakeware tray, which is extremely hardy. It comes with 2 handles as well for easy lifting. And it's ideal for roasting meats like this one. So let me just throw that all in. Make sure all of it just lies in a single layer because you want all of those chicken wings and winglets to cook right through. Right, so we are all set. Now let me just pop it in the oven. So 225 degrees, I've cranked it up a little bit to make the process a little faster, and for about 20 minutes because I want all that chicken to cook right through and for the flavors to mingle. So let my Elba oven do all its work while I go and rest. I think my chicken wings are ready and I'm going to get it out of the oven. I can smell the spices, so let's see. They are more than ready. The smell is delicious. If you can see this, there's a nice char going on top of the chicken and it's moist. I didn't use an ounce of oil in this. The chicken has cooked in its own juices and its own oils. So it's pure chicken flavor right here. So I'm just going to sprinkle some parsley on top for a hit of green and some freshness. Et voila! My 5-spice chicken wings recipe is now ready. So I'm just going to dig in to one piece over here. If you can see, the meat is wonderfully moist inside and it's still a bit hot. I need to be cautious. The beauty of this dish is that the spices and salt go right into the meat itself. Chicken wings and the winglets hold the most amount of flavor of the chicken, as I feel. This is something that you can just easily whip up and then present to the Christmas table like you've spent hours slaving over it. There you have it, my chicken wings recipe. So the next recipe, the next appetizer rather, that I'm going to be making today is my chicken liver pate. I personally used to be one of those people who used to make a face when you say chicken liver. But I assure you, if you follow this particular recipe, you are going to absolutely love chicken liver. And not only that, you are going to just sweep your Christmas guests right off their feet with this amazing appetizer. Start off, I am going to put my pan on the heat, and while that heats up, I'm going to chop my onion into small pieces. Right, so now that's done. I'm going to add the olive oil to the pan. I'm using olive oil because I like the flavor that it gives. So let that oil just heat up a little bit. To this, I am going to throw in the onion. So let that brown, rather turn a bit translucent. You will start smelling the onion, and that's when you know it is ready. And to this, I'm going to add some garlic, about 2 teaspoons of garlic. I like adding a lot of garlic in my dishes because garlic is known to have therapeutic properties, and it's good for cutting through all that cholesterol and the oil and all those bad things that we eat and that we as modern human beings have gotten into the habit of consuming on our day-to-day lives. So let that cook for a little while. While that is cooking, I am going to add my salt, half a teaspoon, 1 teaspoon, and oregano, 1 teaspoon. So let all that fry up together. And once you start smelling that garlic and that onion, you know that it is halfway there, and it is at this point that you have to throw in the chicken liver. A little word about the Abans double burner stove. This comes with a gas burner and a hot plate as well, which is extremely convenient for somebody like me who likes to cook up different kinds of things at different kinds of the day. So our chicken livers are almost done. You know it is done when all the liquid of the livers have evaporated and the livers are looking slightly grayish. You take this off the heat and you let it slightly cool down before you move on to the food processor. Right, so I haven't let this cool completely. I'm going to use my food processor to process the chicken liver into a paste. Pate is paste in French. I'm using my Abans food processor today. I like the fact that it is powerful enough to grind things Put all of that in and just close it. Make sure you fit it all the way in and just halfway through, make sure you stop it and just mix it all in. We are done with this right now. I am just going to remove this and show you the texture that we are accepting out of this. That smell is amazing. If you can see, this is the texture that we are expecting out of this. A fine paste that you can actually spread on anything. Today I'm going to show you just one way of serving it up, and this is my favorite way of serving it up, and this involves biscuits and raisins and parsley. So let me show you how it's done. First off, I'm going to lay down some crackers. I'm going to pipe the chicken liver pate onto these biscuits right here. You can serve the liver pate as a dip. You can serve it in individual containers as individual dips. The possibilities really are endless with this little concoction over here. I'm just going to do swirls of pate. How pretty is that? As much or as little as you want. So these little babies are now going to be topped with little bits of parsley. Tiny sprigs of it. You can actually use any topping that you want. I'm using parsley, but you can use microgreens. And something else that goes very well with chicken liver pate is raisins. So 1 raisin per each. There you go. We are done. And how long did that take? So I'm just going to have a taste of this. Look at this really tiny cute thing. It's almost a shame to eat it, but you know. I love that textural contrast between the mushy liver pate and that crunchy biscuit. It's very depth of flavor of oregano, the onions, the caramelization of the garlic. Everything just hits you right at once, and then there's that intense hit of the pepper. So I am wrapping up the day for today, but you've got a complete feast of appetizers to make before you. So this is me, Jayani Senanayake, signing off for today. But don't worry if you missed any of the steps. All the recipes are out there on my blog, pekishme.com.